In a huge story emerging in the last 24 hours, the arrest of a former Labor MP in South Australia's State Parliament, Annabel Digance, and her husband on blackmail charges. They are residents of Strathalbyn. Now, the SAPOL report came out, but then the advertiser chose to name the people involved in the report. The important angles about this: firstly, it's alleged that Ms Digance was threatening to smear the Labor opposition leader Peter Malinowskis, who SA Police identify as the victim in their case. Now, this is important to note. We understand the allegations are that if he didn't secure her a seat in the state or federal parliament, that there was some particular reprisal. Now, that's an alarming allegation that someone might get a $200,000 a year salary via those sorts of questions. But the position of influence that they might also gain by doing so also has to be taken into account. Incidentally, Labor is refusing to comment on the allegations and are waiting for this to go to the courts. Here's the second point, though. There's an inquiry into these allegations of bullying and harassment in the state parliament that's been launched by the Liberal government. Now, it's into Ms Digance, and the centrepiece of the allegations are that the complaints about her being mistreated by her own party, Labor. So there's the question about whether that inquiry will continue now. The Attorney-General, Vicky Chapman, has said the inquiry would go ahead, but notwithstanding that, the interesting circumstance is that Tom Koutsantonis has tweeted this morning about the fact that notwithstanding that the star witness is now under police investigation for blackmail in the bullying circumstances, is this becoming a very, very ugly set of situations? The allegations are yet to be tested in the courts. They're highly concerning. What do they say about politics? And that someone would either be in an allegations being made that they would seek to secure a position in Parliament via blackmail, and that the opposition leader would be so concerned about somebody within his own party and seek to go to the police. Either way, it's unseemly, and it's not a good look for the Labor Party heading into March's state election. Police matters, as they do, take a long time in the court, and one would suspect that they may not even be concluded before the next election. Mr Malinowskis might need to give evidence, and in the sense of the parliamentary inquiry, and this could unravel some of the discussions as to why this has ended up in the current situation that it is, and what were the tipping points, and who was responsible for documentation at the last election that's been alleged as being involved in this. And one would say it could dent Labor's hopes to bring the Marshall government down after one term. And I suspect that there'll be a huge amount of reporting on this court case, on the parliamentary inquiry. At the same time, too, a very close observation of how Mr Malinowskis handles this, because in some ways he's had a pretty good run in the media up till now, and it may be that this is going to test his leadership credentials.